Hello and welcome back to another video. Tonight I'm going to be shooting the Milky Way at a part of County Durham that I haven't visited in about 4 or 5 years. Well, not this specific site in County Durham. I've been further along in this little village to get photos of the Milky Way more recently, but certainly not at this location in Rookhope, and it's called the Rookhope Arch. I was last there around 4 or 5 years ago, and it's a beautiful little site. It's you might need to correct this here, but it's an old lead mining village, and it's got tons and tons of interesting history. And part of this history are these abandoned mine buildings where the workers used to live, and kind of this now defunct and relatively knackered arch. It's beautiful, it's lovely to look at, it's a great foreground image for the Milky Way. And the good thing about this place, pitch black dark, so you get some beautiful clear skies, beautiful dark skies I should say, and the Milky Way will rise and kind of traverse the landscape directly behind this arch, which is ideal. Now the last time I went there, from memory, I think I'd done I'm sure it was a 5-image panorama of the arch, Rookhope Arch, and the Milky Way above it, which at the time I thought looked really good, and it still does look good, but I was kind of light painting the arch, which I now really dislike. So tonight I am going just before I'm heading off now. Got a terrible cold and a bad throat, apologies for that. Yeah, I'm going just as the sun's setting, and it'll take me about an hour to get there, get a nice image of the arch as foreground with the remnants of blue hour light in the foreground, so I don't need to do that horrible light painting, what I really dislike. Some people like it, I don't. I really dislike it. In fact, I think it looks really, really awful. And then I'll get the Milky Way behind it. It's crystal clear skies. It has been all day. It has been beautiful weather for mid-October. You couldn't ask for better conditions, really. The Milky Way doesn't rise too late, so it's not really a late night, but it is very, very cold out there, and it's going to get even colder in the in Rookhope Valley tonight. But you've got to be in it to win it, haven't you? I'm not foreseeing any problems, any issues, or anything like that. Everything is very, very, very straightforward with these images. I've been there before, I know where I'm going. The only issue could be that I get there and there's sudden increase in cloud, which I don't think is forecast, but that could be a possible issue. I'm taking my Fuji X-T5, Samyang 12mm. Again, like I've said in previous videos, it is ideal for landscape photography and astrophotography, night sky photography, because it allows so much light to come in through that lens, and it's got a very wide field of view. So what I'll try to do tonight is, what I'm going to try and do tonight, I've done it in the past, but this was years and years and years ago. I'm going to try and get, I don't know, maybe 15 to 20 images of the Milky Way, and I'm going to try and stack them in a program. I've got Deep Sky Stacker, I think that should do the trick. I'm going to try and stack all those 15 images together to get a much clearer image of the Milky Way. I've done it years ago, can't remember how to do it, so I'll have to look at some YouTube videos on how to do that, and hopefully get a really good image. So this is what it looks like in Rookhope. Beautiful place. Okay, it's still relatively clear here in Rookhope. The sun set about 15 20 minutes ago, and where am I? There is the rock arch, arch. Like I said, it's been about 5 years since I've been here, and yeah, it's just a short walk over there, and the Milky Way rises directly here. So it rises directly behind the arch there. But on my way in, I noticed around about here is a good spot for to get a view of this bridge here, and there's a stream, a brook running all the way along there. So I thought, if I can get the camera set up here, if I can get the camera set up here, I could get a nice view of the Milky Way with the stream in front of it and that bridge. So I'm going to give that a try. Like I say, I'm here on Blue Hour, which will give some really nice illumination to the rock arch and to that river and bridge. I think I'll go and get that shot first, actually, and see what we get. Okay, I'm just at the rock arch now, and it's pitch black. I'm glad I came just at Blue Hour for to get a decent amount of exposure on the rock arch while it's still a little bit hold on a second, still a little bit light. Okay, so I'm doing a 6.5 second exposure on the rock arch. I've got the Samyang 12mm on, which is letting tons of light in, perfect for astrophotography. ISO's at 640, and that's doing all right at the minute for to get some decent exposure on the rock arch, I should say. Yeah, that's looking pretty good. So just a little bit of background, what I've just read about this rock arch. It was around about 1800s that this was in use, and it was part of a longer structure, and it was to carry a flue from the lead mines, which for it being so long helped the gases from inside the mine to cool down, and any remaining lead ore, I guess you call it, to cool down so it could be also collected. And this flue ran up the hillside for it to allow it to cool when this was a lead mining industry in the area, which I didn't know, which is really quite interesting. I think I assumed it was some kind of bridge or whatever, but hey, you learn something new every day. So here's the foreground image what I've got. The background you'll see is very, very bright, and that's just simply because it's still Blue Hour, and yeah, it's overexposed to hell. But the point is for the foreground to be illuminated, and this is what I've got here. Now what I'll do is I will take another few shots for to get a good enough exposure on the rock arch. I keep saying rock stack. The rock arch, when the sky starts to darken down a touch, and then get the Milky Way behind it. More than likely get the Milky Way and put that behind the image as a separate image. And I've explained before, I don't like light painting. I think it looks really horrible on images. Some people like it. I think it looks absolutely terrible. But hey, it's each to their own. Each to their own. Who am I to criticise other people's work? The Milky Way is out and is absolutely beautiful. There we go on the camera. Again, I'm using the Fuji X-T5, Samyang 12mm, wide open, and I'm on ISO 5000, which is a lot higher than I want to go. and shutter speed of 30 seconds. I have tried to get a few images for to put into a stack. I'm not sure how well it will work because there is some high cloud around. Even so, I've gotten a couple of nice single shots of the Milky Way. My calculations were off just a little bit though. I thought the Milky Way would be directly behind the arch, and it will be much later tonight, around about 1 o'clock in the morning. I don't know how I got my calculations that wrong, to be honest, but there we go. The Milky Way will in fact cross the arch of one of the pillars of the rock stack very shortly. So it's the rock stack is literally just here. So I'm going to give it another hour and a half and get that image and see how it looks. You know what it is, even some of the times when you plan things, they still go wrong. But I'm just glad that it's clear skies and I'm all alone here. I thought there would be more people around, but it is a pretty remote location, to be fair. But it's one of the best places for dark skies.